Lord of the Rings Online is a free-to-play MMORPG released back in 2007, set in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. It was developed by Turbine, and when it launched, it was actually a subscription-based game, but 3 years after release, it shifted to a free-to-play model with optional VIP subscriptions and a cash shop. The game still receives regular updates, with the latest being the Fate of Gundabad expansion, released not that long ago in 2021. What's up, guys? I'm Headbanger90, and welcome to the MMOPIT, a series where I play any MMORPGs that I can find, whether to revisit them or try them for the first time, to see how the MMO genre is doing these days, and maybe to find a hidden gem. And today I'm looking at the Lord of the Rings Online. I don't know much about the lore of Middle-earth, and this is a game that I've never played before, but it had always piqued my interest, mainly because a lot of my friends played it back in the day. So let's jump right in. As I log in, I'm greeted with beautiful Lord of the Rings music and a pretty decent looking character selection screen. There's a giant city in the background, some tents, trees, ruins, and you can turn the camera around all the way. This is looking pretty good. The graphics do look a little bit outdated, but hey, this game came out in 2007, so it's to be expected. And to be honest, the graphics never really mattered to me that much. So let's create a character, shall we? In Lord of the Rings Online, you can play as a man, high elf, dwarf, stout axe, which is a slightly taller dwarf, a hobbit, an ordinary elf, and Bjorning. But when I choose my class, I'm greeted with this thing, only available through the cash store. Okay, here we go. But it's no big deal. It's a free-to-play game. Stuff like this is to be expected. So let's just move on. So the classes that you can play are the Cash Shop Brawler class, Burglar, which is your rogue, a Captain, which is like a paladin, a Champion, which is a dual sword wielding DPS class, a Guardian, the tank, a Hunter, no explanation needed there, Lore Master, which is a mix of a mage and a warlock, Minstrel, a healer bard, Runekeeper, kind of like a priest, Warden, a tank class with a spear, and Bjorning, who can only be, well, a Bjorning. They're kind of like the druid class from World of Warcraft. There is an option to watch a quick video which explains the lore behind each race and class that you will be potentially playing, and I think that's pretty cool.
The age of man is fast approaching. The chosen of a higher power, men dominate the lands of Middle-earth, both west and east of the Misty Mountains. Their strength of will and prowess at arms will decide the fate of Middle-earth, whether for good or for ill.
I decided to go with a human lore keeper because I want to throw some fireballs in Sauron's face, so let's customize her. The customization is nothing too crazy. We got our several face types, hairstyles, eyebrow shapes, hair colors, etc. All in all, a fairly good set of customization options. And after creating the perfect lore keeper, Ryuko is born once again, and my name is taken. Okay, I guess I'll be going with Ryuko. Yeah, that's totally fine. Let's just play the game. As soon as the loading screen hits, I'm greeted with this. Boost your stats. Might increase your ability to block and parry attack. What? Agility, better your chance to critically hit a foe. Stat tomes can be found as treasure or in the Lord of the Rings Online store. Oh, okay. Man, this seems so pay to win. And they're pushing me to the cash shop again. I haven't even done a single quest in the game, and I've already seen the cash shop advertisement twice. But okay, it's a free-to-play game. Seems kind of pay to win, but let's see what the gameplay is like.
A chance encounter with brigands upon the road leads to captivity. You awaken with the ranger Strider before you. As he urges you to act quickly, you realize you have become involved in matters much greater than yourself.
Okay, not bad. The narrator does a quick explanation of the game. There's a small tip window on my left explaining all the basic things. This is looking pretty good. Basic controls, WASD to move, space to jump, I to open my inventory, and what's this? In a true free-to-play fashion, I'm showered with gifts. After opening them, I got this silly pet dog, a kite, and wait, what? A full set of armor? Another dog, XP potions, 4 mounts? 2 more sets of armor? What is this? These are just cosmetics, thankfully, but I don't look like a mage at all. This looks like I'm a Valkyrie or something. I hate this look. So I took off all the armor because I want to see what the visual armor progression is like. And just look at this. Beautiful. 60% of my inventory is clogged up with cosmetics and other trash. But I bet I can fix that with the cash shop. Okay, enough complaining. Moving on, and Strider says we should part ways because, I don't know, Scooby-Doo logic. And then a bad guy comes flying through the door. I made a quick work of him and decided to check out what spells I have. A fireball type of spell, and what's this? I can summon a freaking bear to fight by my side? There he is! It seems that you can also rename your companion, so I did the only logical thing in this situation and named him Bear Guy. I also have an AoE wind ability, a crazy one-shot lightning strike, which I'm gonna be using a lot, a melee attack where I bash my enemies with my staff, and a debuff. Alright, moving on. Together with Bear Guy, we defeat a few more enemies and then discover a hobbit being held prisoner. I set her free, and like an absolute madman, she sets the whole place on fire. After that, we rescue another hobbit, and you can see that the stress of the situation is really getting to Bear Guy. Just look at him. Then a spooky demon guy shows up, spooks us all, and runs off as soon as Strider swings his sword at him, and it seems like the introduction section is over.
Wounded by a Black Rider, the Ranger Umdir escaped with his charges into the wild, making his way back to the village of Archet.
There, Captain Brackenbrook, a retired sellsword, has allowed Strider and his companions to stay and take respite from their cares.
A quick loading screen with the narrator explaining the story again, and I kinda like this. Helps you follow the story along easier, you know? So here we are in the open world. We can see other players running around, the NPCs just doing their thing, and I gotta say, this looks good. The art style and the atmosphere feels like I'm actually in the Lord of the Rings universe. I like this. So I explored the town a little bit, found an inn with a party going on. Very nice. I also found a mage trainer who says I can learn spells from him, but it turns out he absolutely lied to me because you get your skills automatically as you level up, so this guy was completely useless. To be honest, I was kind of surprised to see so many players running around. I thought this game would be much more deserted, but mostly everywhere I looked, there were players adventuring in Middle-earth, which was a very nice surprise. And also, looking at the Steam charts, the numbers don't seem that bad. So this game actually has a healthy little community, which is always very nice to see. So I started to quest, and I defeat a boss on top of a temple, and now it's time to test out the fall damage. And I slide on the wall and land safely on the ground. In fact, I found this kind of annoying. Like, why can't you jump on this ledge here? Or jump through this giant hole in the wall? I hate when games do that. It totally breaks the immersion. But to be honest, there is a penalty if you jump from too far up. You break your legs. I'm not even kidding. You break your legs and then your character starts limping for a few seconds, but there's no damage taken to your health. And if you jump from a really high place, you can actually die, so it's not like you can just jump off a cliff and be on your merry way. Anyways, time to turn my quest in, and I level up. And what's this? The game is pushing me to the game shop once again. I really don't care about it at this point, and just decide to continue my adventure for now. The quests so far have not been anything too special, only kill X amount of this mob or gather X amount of this thing. Hopefully there's gonna be more variety soon. I'm not actually complaining, because with the calm music and nice foresty visuals, I'm actually having a good time at this point. Just a nice simple adventure with some mob grinding, just like in the old vanilla WoW days. I also found a boar trying to drown itself, so I did the only rational thing and threw a fireball at its face. Then a bandit shot a poison arrow at me and I died, but it looks like you can just click revive now and you can just continue on like nothing happened. Kill more of this, gather more of that, and I get a quest to go to the hunting lodge and... Oh no! What have they done to you, bear guy? Oh, never mind. In fact, I took a look around this place and it's pretty gruesome. I mean, just look at this room. I kind of like it. By the way, you can swim, but you can't dive underwater, which is a shame, but at least water doesn't kill you like in some other games. After completing some more quests, I got decked out in the starter gear, and god damn, I love the look of this. I look like a real adventurer. So cool. Look at the hat. After that, the nearby hunter says that we should take a break before the next adventure and have some rest on the bedroll. I fall asleep and in my dreams some weird low polygon lady visits me and starts showing me visions and stuff.
Listen to my words. I am Galadriel, the Lady of the Golden Wood. Do not be afraid, my friend. Your people are short-lived, but the fate of Middle-earth is yours to command. I will not long disturb your sleep. I can visit you in dreams for only a short time. I have looked into my mirror and seen much that worries me. Let me show you.
As I said, I don't know much about Lord of the Rings lore, but it was pretty funny seeing Bear Guy absolutely demolish the immersion of these cutscenes by photobombing every frame that he can. The cutscene also shows us the battle between Gandalf and the Balrog, which was pretty cool to see. And then back to Bear Guy being an absolute troll. I love him. The lady says that I'm the chosen one. Of course, and wakes us up. Weird cutscene, but it's pretty cool that this game has cutscenes at all. So then I got like a scenario quest. The starting town is under attack by the bad guys and we must break our way in and put a stop to their shenanigans. This feels pretty cool. It's like the scenarios and WoW. I just wish there was an option to do it with other players too, but this is not bad at all. We find all of our friends trapped in the town square with waves of bandits coming at them, so it's time to fight them off. All goes well until some weird red cape demon guys show up and takes one of our boys away. I haven't been following the story very closely at this point, so I have no idea who that guy is, but it's time for a mini-boss. We make quick work of him, and that ends the scenario.
With the Black Wolves' attack foiled, the people of Archet have begun to rebuild. Yet not all hurts are so easily mended. The fate of the Ranger Amdia remains uncertain, and may have dire consequences for Breland. But hope remains that he may yet be saved.
After that, we appear in the starting town, which is now all burned and destroyed, and it turns out this is the actual open world. Everything before this was the intro section, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. It showed all the necessary game mechanics, set the mood for the rest of the game, and to be honest, got me a little bit hooked. I really like how the atmosphere changed in the town after the fire disaster. Everyone seems gloomy and sad. I love when MMOs do this kind of stuff. Not the fire part, but you know what I mean. I really wanted to see what the game is going to throw at me next, so here we go! Onwards to adventure!
I'm going on an adventure!
So I finally managed to clear out my inventory a little bit and notice that I have unread mail. It looks like the Lord of the Rings Online anniversary event was happening at that time, so I got an invitation to join the festivities, but we will do that later. For now, I just wanted to get on with my questing. I got to level 6 and the game introduced me to the deed log. It's like a cool little side thing that you can do, like use that skill on an enemy this many times or kill this amount of mobs, and it grants you titles and other good stuff. And of course, you can accelerate this whole deed process by purchasing a certain item in the cash shop.
No.
I decided to ignore the whole thing because whenever a cash shop is involved, you know it's not worth it. Also, it looks like the game has a pretty cool talent tree system, just like the old school World of Warcraft talent trees. 3 specializations, each with its own perks. You know, the good stuff. I decided to be a master of fire and lightning because I want to pump out those big numbers. The game also tells me that I'm finally able to ride mounts.
Very cool.
And that I should visit some guy in Breeland to learn how to ride them. Alright, let's do that. So I opened my map to see where Breeland is, and holy crap, the game world is huge. Just look at this. No wonder the max level is like 130 or something. The destruction had also spread out to the farm, as now it was overrun with spiders and corpses.
Ew.
Here I also found what looks to be like a mini dungeon or something. It's the farmer's cellar, and it's been infested with even more spiders, so of course, I went in and performed a mass genocide on the whole spider population. This place seemed pretty cool. There were enemies left and right and from above. The rooms were cramped and felt dangerous, so I actually had to be a bit careful with my pulls. I managed to get to the end of the mini dungeon and I found what seems to be a mini boss spider, but I was totally robbed of the kill and this guy one-shotted it. Screw you, Eteldine! After a few more quests, the game informed me that it's time to leave the starting zone and begin the real adventure. So here we go! Off to Combe? I don't know. So the stable master is right here, and I was like, okay, time to learn my riding. But it turns out that this guy is kind of like the flight master in World of Warcraft. I can just quick travel from place to place. So how can I ride my mounts? I mean, the game already gifted me 4 of them. At this point, I was very confused, so I did a quick Google search and just look at what I found. From level 5, you can purchase the skill on the cash shop.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
My mind was totally blown at this point. It completely destroyed the immersion. I mean, really? Unless you are ready to cough up a few dollars, you won't be riding your mounts? I felt very pissed off, but I decided to continue and see what other surprises this game's gonna throw at me. But what I found next was actually a good thing. The player housing system. I was offered to take a look at a small house for sale in the Breeland neighborhood. And here it is. It's a humble, cozy little house. I would love to have it and decorate it, but sadly it costs an arm and a leg, and I'm just a poor novice adventurer. All in all, this is a pretty cool instant zone with everything you might need. Gazebos, musicians in the gazebos, creepy statues, chicken coops, creepy hobbit children, windmills, more street musicians, and holy crap, look at how much money they've made. It's like 3 sacks of gold right there. I need to get in on this. A stage, you know, the works. I decided that it's time to get out of here, so I used the stable master to see how the transport works, and it took me to the middle of nowhere. Just look at this. Now I have to run all the way back.
Oh, the inhumanity!
Maybe I just don't know how the system works because I just started to play the game, but still. While we walk, let's read some Steam reviews and see what other people have to say about the game, shall we? Want to assist the Fellowship of the Ring on their journey to Mount Doom? Want to explore Gollum's cave in the depths of Goblin Town? Want to help find Bill the pony after Sam released him outside the mines of Moria? Then I highly recommend for the story aspect. Smiley face. It's an old-style MMORPG with a well-written and integrated Lord of the Rings-based storyline. Some may find the gameplay linear by today's standards, and I guess it is. It also doesn't have the crispiest of textures, etc., but the worlds still look fantastic and sprawling. I can't think of a game that provides a more relaxing and enjoyable experience. The game itself isn't bad. What gets me is how the company nickel and dimes you for everything on their free-to-play model. 140 levels, but you want to get past 50? Pay us $60. Want to get past 120 and hit max level? Another $50, thank you. One bag space? That'll be another $5 per 5 slots. Bank space? Another $10, please. Oh, you want to use the wardrobe feature? That'll be $20, thank you very much. Want to ride a horse? $8, please. Don't like the 5 gold currency cap? Pay us. Want to actually use your traits? Pay us. Want to have the game's basic functionality? Pay us. And the list goes on and on and on. Free to play? This is actually the most expensive MMO I've ever taken part in. That's alright. 3,026 hours played. I've sunk a lot of time into this game over the years, and it has gotten progressively worse, especially in the past year. The new weapon system upgrades are based on an unreliable RNG, and the latest expansion was only half done, with about half the promised features missing and the gear optimization incomplete. The devs just ignore players on their forums now too, and the beta tests are just for show, never actually leading the devs to fixing what's broken. The game has just become frustrating and unfun. 10,158 hours played.
Jesus Christ.
So after a
Totally reasonable
10-minute walk back to Combe, because I don't have a freaking mount, I decided to check out the professions. I googled the best profession for a lore master and I was sure it's gonna be tailoring or something, but no. It's the tinker profession, which is a prospector, jewel crafter, and a cook. So I went with that. You get 3 short quests that explain each of the professions, and I decided to give them a go. First up, cooking. This lady gives me the tools and ingredients for the quests, and just look at that. Inventory overflow, just lovely. If only my bags weren't full of useless cosmetics and mounts, which I'm not able to use. One Google search later, and I find that there is a storage bank in Breetown, so let's start walking again.
Oh goody.
The walk is not that bad this time, only took me a minute or two, and here we are, Breetown. And this actually looks pretty cool. There's lots of NPCs everywhere, quite a lot of players running around. The music is spot on. It just feels great, though it is a bit laggy. I finally find the bank and get rid of all the trash in my inventory. So now I can finally carry on with my profession quests. Just gotta walk back to Combe. So here we go. Click on the oven and make a cup of spring barley flour. Simple enough. After that, use the flour to cook some biscuits. Nice and easy. Now time for the jewel crafting, and I don't know if the game bugged out or what, but I just couldn't find the recipe for the copper ring in my recipe list. I clicked on every tool, every workstation, and it just didn't show up. I even bought a new recipe, and it also decided to not be there in the list. The game clearly bugged out, so I quit the quest and tried taking it again, but nope. You gotta wait 24 hours before trying again.
What? No.
Though I did the quest the next day, and all the correct recipes showed up, and the quest worked as intended. I also did the prospector quest, and it worked perfectly. From there, it was time to get back to questing, and I was taken to a giant, beautiful forest, infested with wolves and bandits. I have gotten used to the bit outdated graphics at this point, and actually really enjoyed the visuals and the atmosphere. And I'm not gonna lie, despite all the weird small bugs, a bit of lag, the cash shop, I was kinda getting hooked on the game. The quests kept reminding me of the old vanilla WoW quests, like how you have to fight your way through an enemy camp just to kill the named mob hiding at the end. You know, the good stuff. Still nothing more complex than just kill and gather, and walking. So much walking. But then there's moments like this, and it kind of makes up for it. Now at this point the quest took me back to the spider mini dungeon, and I was hoping that maybe this time I will be able to kill the big spider at the end, but nope. I watched it getting murdered in front of my eyes again. Screw you too, Jabaki. The next thing I knew, the game sent me back to the spider dungeon again to finally kill the spider boss, and I knew that my time has come. I was ready to finally kill the spider. The time had come for epic loot. So me and Bear Guy braved the spider cave for the 3rd time, slaughtering spiders left and right, and in our hearts we knew the spider is not getting away from us this time. After navigating the labyrinth, we finally reached the last room, and there it was, all alone, ready for battle.
You have no power here.
We killed it in a few hits and got no loot out of him. GG. What I did manage to get was a really dumb looking hat from the quest reward. Just look at it. For the next few hours, nothing really crazy happened. I just continued questing and exploring the world. I visited the forest again, cleared a wolf-infested farm, got lost in a field of stumps, killed some bugs in the swamps, you know, the good stuff. And I had a great time doing these quests. The game really gave me those old school vanilla WoW vibes, you know? You know what I'm talking about. Upon reaching level 10, the game introduced me to the Instance Finder. I thought, that's pretty cool. A simple looking dungeon finder tool. Everything looks pretty straightforward. I'll try it out later and see what the dungeons are like. But what I really wanted to try was some PvP. But the game still had not given me any information about that, so I decided to keep leveling, and hopefully PvP opens up later on in the game. The questing at this point had gotten a little bit frustrating because of the fact that all the quests are so far away from each other, and without a mount, it takes quite a while to get to where you need to be, but that's okay. The game clearly underestimates the willpower of an old school MMO player, so I embraced the walking simulator and just pressed on. And I got a better looking hat. Can't be looking like a fool while killing goblins in the marshlands, right? I decided it was time to properly visit Breetown again, the big awesome looking city with the bank. There were a lot of high level players AFKing and showing off their gear, but to be honest, none of the high level gear really looked that impressive in my opinion. My low level questing gear looked just as good as theirs, if not better. I heard a massive firework explosion and wonder what the hell is going on. A pop-up quest explained that the anniversary event is in Breetown today and gave me some fireworks to shoot off myself. I used the party invitation item from the quest and got teleported to the event, which was like 20 feet from where I was standing. It had a few quests like shoot more fireworks in the city and visit several points of interest, and even a minigame where you have to shoot off the correct fireworks in a sequence. All very fun and cool, and I think that it's awesome that MMOs do stuff like this. After that, I decided to explore the city some more and found a cool little hidden quest when I clicked on this posted bill, discovered the prancing pony, and while there, I met a bard who was willing to sell me a musical instrument. I knew that I was destined for the fiddle, so as soon as I equipped it, I started shredding. As soon as I got that out of my system, it was time to check out the instance finder. It seemed that there is only one instance available for my level, so I queued up and clicked launch now. I was sure that the tool would work just like any other MMO like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV, where it just puts you together with several other people who also need to do the dungeon. We kill a few mobs, a few bosses, get our loot, and go our separate ways, but what I was greeted with was this. So I'm in the instance, standing on a bridge, all alone with an army of orcs looking at me, foaming from the mouth, ready to kill me. I panic and talk to the first quest giver to see if he can explain anything, but all he says is, "Good luck on defeating the army of orcs, adventurer, you will need it. Also, if I die, you fail the whole thing." So here's how the instance works, at least as far as I understand. The enemy will come in waves from different sides of your barrier, and you have to command the troops to defend the structure. I say command the troops, but all it is just running to them and clicking on the buff icons now and again. Somehow we managed to clear the first wave, so it was time for the second one, but my god, it was so tedious. The music made the whole thing feel so intense and epic, but nothing was really happening, just NPCs fighting a few orcs. There's also this ballista over here, which I tried my best to operate, but holy crap, is it slow and inaccurate. The game also kept telling me to defend specific points of interest from time to time, but since there is no map and it's my first time here, I have no idea what the game is talking about, so I fail the objectives every time. Eventually the whole area is infested with orcs, and I have no choice but to retreat and exit the instance. I thought it was the strangest thing that I've ever experienced in an MMO, so I decided to never do that again, so I went back to questing. I did a few quests here and there, and then... Wait. Is that Johnny Depp? Johnny! Wait up, Johnny! I loved you in Sweeney Todd! Yes! First rule of playing an MMO, always check behind the waterfall for secrets. And... nothing's here, but hey, there's a door right next to it. And it turns out to be kind of like a mini solo dungeon. Finally! This is what I've been waiting for. No douchebags stealing my spiders. No weird battle simulators. Just a good old full trash tank and spank dungeon. And it's kind of like that. Not really. So check this out. This is a scripted instance where I have to infiltrate the bandits' cave, talk to the leader, and then rescue the prisoners. And it's actually pretty cool. I loved it. So one of the prisoners runs away, and I'm left with this old woman. And finally, a different kind of quest. Other than just kill or gather. An escort quest! Okay, no one is a fan of escort quests, but seeing this actually felt like a breath of fresh air. So I was actually kind of excited. I kill all the baddies who are trying to kill this poor old lady, and she informs that she will not leave without her... stick? Okay. We find a stick on the other side of the cave, of course, and when she's ready to leave, the big boss shows up right around the corner. Me and Bear Guy made quick work of him, and we were finally ready to leave. Back at the entrance, some guy kills the other prisoner, and that's it. Dungeon done. And I really liked it. And the good news is, there's tons of instances like this in the game, which was a big plus for me. And wouldn't you know it, the next thing I did was another instance where the minimap turned into the Eye of Sauron as I fought one of the last bosses, and then we took on the spooky hooded guys from the introduction zone. Good times. It appears that during the storyline quest, you actually get to do a lot of these type of instances, which is really good. After that, I continued on questing and noticed that I got another summon skill. Now I can also have a raven pet which boosts my magic attack, and yes, you guessed it, I named him Bird Guy. I found a quest giver that would give me what seems to be an epic cloak if I finish his quest, so I got really excited and immediately set on the adventure. The quest was another instance where I'm trapped in a library with dozens of bookshelves and I have to search all of them until I find a specific book. While I'm searching, more and more goblins keep entering the room to try and stop me from succeeding. This was another well thought out instance in my opinion. I found the book, turned in the quest, and got my epic looking cloak. At this point, I felt like doing some more exploring when I noticed a weird giant structure on top of a mountain in the distance, so I decided to go check it out. I mean, I've been walking like crazy this entire time, so why not do some more? I got to the mountain, but there was no visible way to get up there, so in a true MMO fashion, walk around the mountain until you see a path. Or something. After a few minutes of searching, there it was. The game started to warn me that I'm entering a high-level zone, but with my new cape, I felt unstoppable. And as soon as I walked up the cliff, a giant walking tree kicked my ass right back to the starting zone. I felt a little bit discouraged, but at least the next quest made my shattered ego feel a little bit better because I got invited to a birthday party. And the next quest was also pretty cool because it was one of those instances again, and it made me fight a giant ass spider. Awesome. I decided to take a closer look at the deed log window and discovered that I've completed a bunch of them already just by playing the game. And some of the rewards include the cash shop currency. So I checked the cash shop and it turns out I already have 75 coins and the writing skill only costs 95. I got pretty excited and started to look for some quick deeds I can do. One of them involved summoning your pet 200 times, and you can bet your sweet ass that I stood there and summoned and dismissed my pet over and over again for 20 minutes. This didn't actually turn out the way I wanted because the game slapped me in the face and said, "That's enough summoning for today. You may continue tomorrow." I was discouraged, but not beaten, so instead I went back to the starting zone and performed a mass genocide on the spider population, and then the same thing on the weird grasshoppers in the marshlands. This got me enough coins to be able to buy the basic riding skill, and let's be honest, I will never be able to afford any of the other upgrades. But anyways, I got the skill and was thrilled to get back to Breetown to get my 4 mounts out of the bank. I was so happy, in fact, that I got out my violin. And here we go. My first mount is a boar, and it's magnificent. The other mounts were a horse with a flag, an armored horse, and a blue armored horse.
Very cool.
I decided to go with the last mount because it just looks cool, and you already know it. His name is Horse Guy now. Now, questing with the mount made things at least 3 times faster. It was great. No more boring 10-minute walks from quest hub to quest hub. It felt glorious. And the mounts have a cool feature. Instead of just dismounting you if you take too much damage, the mount has a health bar, and if it drops down to 0, you actually get knocked off, and both you and your horse stumble on the ground. I think it's a nice little feature. At this point, the quests led me into the dark forest where everything went dark. The music and the atmosphere changed to some really spooky vibes. The enemies changed from bears and bandits to creepy vines in the ground and horrible tree monsters that killed me earlier. I love the zone. And to be honest, ever since the quest started here, the zones, the mobs, and the stories got a lot more dark and serious. Now let me show you what I mean. I found a strange spooky woman just standing by a lake with a timed quest. She wanted me to bring a bucket of water from the lake back to the camp right outside the woods. And then there's this weird guy who just lives in the woods all alone and sings a weird song every time I talk to him.
Ring a dong, hop along, follow the willow. Hey dole, merry dole, ring a dong dillo.
And then I stumble upon a group of explorers who are investigating the Northern Barrows, a place filled with zombies, ghosts, rats, and other creepy things. While helping the explorers, I found a lost girl, and you guessed it, it's a super long escort quest. I actually managed to complete all my other objectives while walking this girl to safety. Finish the escort quest, and there's a dead body lying on the ground. Clicking on it grants you another quest. Now see, I really like this, these small hidden things. It really gets me immersed into the game when I find stuff like this. Just awesome. I did all the quests in the zone and found a wandering ghost. Now this guy started a really long and awesome quest chain which ended with a, can you believe it? An actual dungeon! Now you know that I had a bad experience with the instance finder tool, but I decided to give it a go one more time because I really wanted to see what the dungeons are like. And I had no idea how to work this thing. Usually you just select your instance, click join, and wait until a pop-up says that your dungeon is ready. Not the case in Lord of the Rings Online though. I do the same thing, click on a group that's already queued up, press launch now, and I get teleported to the dungeon where I'm alone and at the mercy of the elite mobs. I just couldn't understand how to group up with the people that apparently are doing the same dungeon at the moment. Now, when you have to look up guides on YouTube how to use the instance finder, you know the system has some problems.
I will launch one just to give you a brief sort of visual.
Thankfully, a high-level player showed up and I slid into her DMs and asked for help. Now, another thing that I want to complain about is the chat. First of all, there are no chat bubbles above the player's head, so you have to read what they say down in the chat window. Now, this would be fine, but the text color is exactly the same as the world or trade chats. Final Fantasy 14, you're guilty of the same thing, by the way. So you have to know the name of who you are talking to and try to catch their messages between the fast-moving chatters. Thankfully, there is a DM system and it's in a separate window, so that made things easier. There's even a very loud sound notification when you receive a message. Now back to the instance finder tool, and the high-level player also had no idea why it wasn't working, so we concluded that it's a bug. And so we decided to group up and she ran me through the entire thing. The dungeon itself was actually really good. It's like an underground tomb with mummies, walking skeletons, dismembered hands, and traps everywhere. I love the look of it. Felt like we were actually raiding a real forgotten tomb. Even with the help, I still managed to die, but thankfully all you do is click retreat now and you're sent back to the start of the dungeon. The rest of the dungeon went without any problems, and we managed to take down the last 2 bosses. After the run, Drina taught me how to fix my gear. I thanked her for the help. We added each other on our friends list and parted our ways because she said she needs to go help out another friend. What a nice person. In fact, all the players that I met on my journey were very friendly and helpful. I haven't joined the Lord of the Rings Online Discord yet, but from what I can see, the community here is really nice. Oh, and I also handed in my completed quest from the dungeon and got an epic staff.
Woo! Yeah, baby!
Now, since I already got to level 20, I decided that my little Lord of the Rings Online adventure is slowly coming to an end. At this point, I've already spent approximately 20 hours on the game, so I wrapped up all of my remaining quests, finally got my 200 pet summon deed done, got knocked off my horse a few more times, killed some more spooky walking giant trees, and started to reflect on the journey that I've just been a part of. I actually had a great time. All the adventures, the NPCs that I've met, the struggles that I've faced, the annoying little bugs, the music, the visuals, the people that I've met, instances that I've completed, Bear Guy.
Middle Earth is yours to command.
I look back on these things with good memories. Sure, the game isn't perfect and the cash shop can go honk itself, but there's something about this game that I really like, and I feel that I will be continuing my adventures in Lord of the Rings Online for a bit longer. I will probably be continuing my adventure live on my Twitch channel. So guys, if you want to check it out, twitch.com/headbanger90. Hope to see you there. So before I wrap up this video and give my final thoughts on the game, there's only a few more things that I want to see. First of all, I found out that there actually is some PvP in Lord of the Rings Online, and it's called Monster Play. What this means is, you can create one of the monster characters and start in a special zone which is constantly under attack by you and other monster players. Now the regular players can also come to the zone and fight the monster players in an endless battle for the rule of the land. I created an Orc Reaver, which is the only free-to-play character, gave him a random name and jumped in to see what Monster Play has to offer. Right off the bat, I can say that it's a lot different than regular mode. You have no gear, you get a few starting items, and you are at max level. The game gives you a few introduction quests, and after that, you're thrown into a massive battle between the monsters and regular players. I had no idea how to play this guy, and I didn't really care to learn because the regular players seemed so much more overpowered, and I got my ass handed to me several times. And it also looked like they had pushed the monsters all the way back to their camp, so I blew off the ugly orc guy and decided to go back to my glorious lore master. I think I might actually enjoy this if I ever get to max level and just come here with my regular character, but we'll see how it goes. The next thing I wanted to do is actually to learn how to use the instance finder, and I did. So this is how it works. Step 1. Go to the instance you want to enter or just click on the tool from your menu. Step 2. Either create a new fellowship for the dungeon or join an existing one. Step 3. Just like regular Dungeon Finder, you have to sit and wait. Step 4. Pray that the Dungeon Master decides to invite everyone to the party and clicks the Launch Now button. Step 5. Accept the invite and you're ready to go. Now this time it was a proper dungeon with no high-level help, just 5 adventurers going up against the challenges. I died a few times, but we killed the final boss, and it was a lot of fun. The very last thing I wanted to do is test out the meme. Can you just walk into Mordor? I looked at the map and saw that Mordor is a bajillion miles away, but that did not stop me from finding out what I needed to know. So I jumped on Horse Guy and started my travels while enjoying the beautiful views along the way. It actually took me a very long time, and I tried several different routes, but it looks like the only way to get to Rohan was through the mines of Moria, so I traveled there. And the answer to can you just walk into Mordor is no. Moria is blocked off by a barrier that says I need some level 50 quests to enter. Oh well. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. So to wrap up the video, I need to answer the question. How bad is it? The Lord of the Rings Online is not bad at all, at least as far as I played. It's a nice, relaxing MMORPG with a beautiful, massive open world, small but very friendly player base, good story, player housing, lots of playable classes, and all in all, it's a pleasant experience. The only few things that I didn't like are the cash shop, the frame skips that were happening quite often, somewhat repetitive quests, and whatever this is. But of course, I encourage you to try the game out for yourself and see if this game is something that you would like to invest your time in. And thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, come watch my shenanigans live on Twitch, and I'll see you in the next video. But until then, stay awesome.